kinds of names, and this is one of the most exciting times of the offseason. Let's take a look at some of the storylines. So look, Ian just mentioned Daniel Jones. Kyler Murray, number 1 overall picks, might be out there. Tua, Rodgers, Geno, Malik Willis, the belle of the ball everybody likes. If you want to pick one of those guys, if you want to go off the board, just what interests you right now in the world of quarterbacks? I think we will start with Manti Te'o.
Well, I'm going to look right there at Geno Smith. When I think of, we talked a little bit about Sam Darnold and who could have a Sam Darnold-like effect on a team. I look no further than Geno Smith. Geno Smith is somebody that under a certain system has been a very, very efficient quarterback in the NFL. Now it has to be the perfect system. Whereas that system, I really don't know, but I do know that if you're looking for a veteran quarterback that can make good decisions, that is accurate, that has a lot of experience under his belt, Geno Smith. Now, he's also had good experience, and he's also had bad experience. And I think that is something that creates a lot of value when you're looking at somebody like Geno, that he knows how to navigate rough waters, but he also knows how to celebrate the win. So I look no further, Raheem, than Geno Smith. He's very intriguing to me. He's somebody that I'm going to have my eye on, and I hope that he finds a place that we are able to see the Geno that didn't write back, right? That's the one that I want to see. So I'm going to go with Geno.
Matt, that's a good cut right there. And I'm going to switch it up, and I'm going to go with Kyler Murray. And the reason why is because he has a no-trade clause in his contract. Now, it's going to be hard to trade him. They're going to have to restructure his deal in order for him to be released or anything like that. And somebody's going to have to pick up the tab once they do. So we're going to see what his camp is talking about, when it comes down to those times. But right now, I think the most interesting carousel story right now is definitely the Kyler Murray, because he could be a good player. He just needs the right fit. But then also sometimes you gotta have a little more maturity in the game too. So we're going to see where that lands. But Willie, I'm going to have to say Kyler Murray on this one. How about yourself?
Yeah, I like Kyler. It's going to be interesting where his second act and where he lands at. For me, it's Daniel Jones. I know Rap Sheet talked about it. I can see them giving him the franchise tag. Listen, I tore my Achilles. It's a tough injury. Nevertheless, guys do come back from it. I was able to come back from it. The Colts, to me, man, this was a team that nobody expected anything from. You're talking about being 7-1 at one point and having Daniel Jones step into that role and absolutely be dynamic with that offensive line. Jonathan Taylor, Tyler Warren. You talk about Alec Pearson, the year he had, man. If they can get Daniel Jones to be ready to go week 1 and he looks good and he's ready to roll, I can see the Colts being, no pun intended, by the way, KB, I can see the Colts being a dark horse for next season, right? And I think solely because of Daniel Jones, the chip on his shoulder, Jonathan Taylor feeling like they have work to do. That year fell short. He was, I think, was on pace to be Offensive Player of the Year. You talk about if they're able to get Daniel Jones, give him the franchise tag, because you understand what Rap Sheet said. If they give him the transition tag, other teams can hunt for him. If they give him the franchise tag, keeps him in-house, and they can really pick up where they left off. He was 8-5 before the injury. I feel right now if the Colts get him back, keep Alex Pearson in the offense, they add more pieces on the outside, the Colts can honestly make a run next year and possibly walk up on a lot of teams who don't expect a lot from them. But best of luck to Daniel Jones. I know it's a tough injury to come back from. I expect him to be back and ready to roll.
We can't stress enough how strange that season was.
Oh,
just so we don't forget. First 2 months of the season, the 2025 Indianapolis Colts are the biggest story in the NFL, the number one story. Then they trade for Sauce Gardner, and everyone's saying we're going to the Super Bowl. Then in the back half, it was one of the greatest, worst, biggest collapses in NFL history that no one seemed to care about because everyone was so charmed about the Disney movie taking place with Phillip Rivers, who didn't win a single game. Such a bizarre season.
Guilty.
And I don't know what the sequel is. We all did it.
I was in love with the story.
They lose every single week, and they blew a huge, huge lead in the division, didn't make the playoffs. But isn't it great that Phil is playing? Really weird year. Now, one of the most fascinating things in the entire NFL right now is not one of those names or one of those faces that we saw up on the board. I'm riveted by the state of J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings and where we're going, because you have this coach that everyone seems to think is fantastic. You have weapons, including Jefferson, who everyone thinks is fantastic. And you got moments like this where he's literally dancing into the end zone. And then you got all kinds of chatter. Some of it's nonsense, but it's not all nonsense. Chatter that JJ is on an extremely short leash next year. Chatter that KOC is not necessarily jive terribly with JJ. Chatter that the Vikings, who have already replaced their front office, are rearranging some things already, and they know that it's not going to happen. I think the most realistic scenario for the Vikings is they need JJ to take a big jump and take a big jump fast. Like in the first few weeks of the season, they need him to look like some of his peers look. Because you look at his peers, Caleb, Nix, May, like, you know the draft class. It's tough. And in the meantime, you have this coach and this quarterback. Now, as it pertains, do they add somebody? There's names out there that are being bandied about. Geno Smith, is that helping the Vikings? Geno's stock is really low right now. I don't think that's all of a sudden this amazing solution. Kyler, does Kyler go to the Vikings? Because he ain't going to back up J.J. McCarthy. He's one of those guys who's probably going to be instantly better the second he gets there. That's your starter. I don't buy into Derek Carr. It's cute, but I don't buy into Kirk Cousins believing, and I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is going to complete the Favre thing. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be in Pittsburgh. So it's like you just kind of roll with what you have, and if it blows up, the season blows up. Or you look to someone like Kyler Murray throwing a Hail Mary appropriately to be like, you're our guy now, Kyler. We're going to change on the fly. It's messy, it's shadowy, and it is really, really fascinating because it all goes away if J.J. McCarthy just comes out and is really good and he figured it out. If he doesn't, it's a mess. The Vikings are really interesting, guys.
Hey,
what do you think, Matt Ty?
I want to ask you this question. So you mentioned a bunch of quarterbacks and possible scenarios for somebody that could compete with J.J. What do you think of somebody like Anthony Richardson? We talked a little bit about him. There was that interaction with Kevin O'Connell after a certain game. What do you think about the possibilities of Anthony Richardson going to a place like Minnesota?
Here's what I think about Anthony Richardson, Matt Ty. I want him to find a new team, and then I don't want to say his name for 2 years. Like, just go and sit on the sideline. You are so talented and have such a great potential. But I don't like Minnesota because he goes to Minnesota and they bring in Anthony Richardson and JJ is shaky and they start out 2-3. Or let's be honest, JJ gets hurt again. Then we're back with Anthony Richardson like we've always been. You throw him in there. He's not going to have these crazy numbers for Jefferson. It's going to be ugly. I don't like it. I don't want to talk about Anthony Richardson until like 2028, at which point we're like, he's a different guy. He's learned. He's done. You know, it's somebody like Geno Smith. Geno Smith went away for years. And then he came back and we're like, wow, Geno's good now. That's the plan for Anthony Richardson. It's like it should have been from the get-go. He should never have been drafted where he was. Everyone was drunk on his talent. 2028 sound good to you, Willie? We can talk about Anthony Richardson?
It sounds realistic.
Yeah,
100%.
let's do that. I don't want to talk about it before then because I don't think he's going to be ready before then. So, Mance, I think it's a really good question. To answer it, though, I think it would be a nightmare in Minnesota. I don't like him there at all. I want someone who has played a lot of football, and if they need to take over for JJ, they can.